Happy Girls Who Print Day, everybody, first of all. It is an honor and a privilege to be the host of Girls Who Print Day for, what year is this, Mary Beth Smith? 5, I think.
6.
Our sixth annual Girls Who Print Day, and our 4th annual Girly Award will be awarded right after this little interview situation.
Very exciting. And by the way, I have to point out something kind of funny. I realized that I'm wearing the same blouse in my photo that I am wearing here. So it's like my photo came to life, and I'm here.
Awesome.
Isn't that amazing? I didn't even plan that. And all of a sudden, I was riding in the elevator on the way here, or out of the hotel, and I was just like, I think I'm wearing the blouse I wore in my picture. So that's kind of funny.
Can you fold yourself like some
tip
cup or something so we can buy you a new shirt?
No, I actually do not do origami. Everyone expects that I do, and I do not do origami. That's a fast fact about me.
No, but she does bake, and if you've ever seen it, I'm not going to say you're obsessive compulsive, because that
borderline, yeah.
Okay, but she had like 36 dozen cookies in her kitchen.
No,
and all of them.
More. Yeah.
It was more.
Yeah, I make thousands at the holidays. That's what in December, I turn into a Christmas elf, and it's just my like magical time where I bake.
No, that's not what the problem was, Trish.
Oh, I know. What freaks her out is everything is lined up, so all of my cookies are
She
in
uses a
perfect
level
line.
or something they're all in perfect rows, like in Soldier's Field. Like, I'm seriously. It's a little bit. It's really wonderful, Trish.
It is.
It's awesome. So for anybody who doesn't know, Trish, who are you, and what do you do to help the printers or the audience, your audience?
So who am I? That's a wonderful question. Nobody ever asked me kind of who am I. I'm a
Who are you?
designer. I'm a creative. And I also have a master's degree in printing. I went to RIT. So my interest in the industry really came from trying to learn more about the production side of print as well as the creative. I felt like I had a great foundation in the creative side of creating materials for print, but I felt like I needed more information on the production side, went for my master's degree. And when I had to come up with a thesis, that's how I started getting into folding. I felt like I didn't know what all of my choices were. And that turned into, and that was almost 20 years ago, people. It's been a while. So over time, I've evolved, and my interests have gone from just creative formats into direct mail, into engagement strategies, into generational preferences for marketing. They're all interrelated. So I feel like my research has evolved as well. So
generational preferences is the best terminology I have ever heard to say marketing to millennials without saying marketing to millennials, because I'm so tired of hearing about marketing to millennials.
Yeah, and the truth is it really is all the different generations as well. So I think there's a lot of focus on millennials, and millennials love print, by the way. But I also think it's powerful as well for Gen X and boomers and Gen Z coming up, too. So.
GPA kind of implied that I was getting plastic, like those big plastic postcards, because I was not a millennial, meaning that I was an older person. Is that true? Do they mail like the plastic cards to people who they think don't care about recycling or anything like that?
No, I actually, my understanding on the trend for plastic cards has more to do with the fact that people like the plastic cards because they feel like gift cards. They don't feel like coupons, and people will use that. They're more likely to use them because they feel less like putting a coupon onto a bill. You know, you kind of feel like, oh, here's a card. You know, there's more of a kind of the usability. People tend to like those a little more, but that was my understanding on that.
So usually you're talking to designers.
Designers, print. Well, interestingly, I do motivate designers and inspire designers. I do a lot of events for printers to talk to their customers. But then on the industry side, my goal is to provide tools and resources so that they can create exciting things for their customers without it kind of slowing down their workflow or making things difficult. What I don't want is for them to dread creating the things that I share with the design community. You know, if I show something interesting, I don't want the printer to go, oh God, I hope that doesn't come my way. That's going to take us forever. Well, what I like to do is say, here's a die line already created by a production professional. Like, you're 95% there. You know, my goal is to try to improve that workflow and smooth it out so that everybody, the printer makes something great, their customer's happy, the customer's happy because they tried something new and they got results from it. And I think a big part of creative solutions is also making sure that you're getting results, because it's not just about creating something great, it's about creating something that works.
So this is a print show, and there's a lot of printers walking around here, and you just said that you help printers.
Yes.
So let's talk to the printers in the booth, and there's Jamie. Look, Jamie the printer right there.
Hi, Jamie.
Jamie the printer's in the booth. Who else is a printer in the booth? Raise your hand if you're a printer. Printer.
All right.
What are the rest of you? Students? How many students we have?
Yay for students.
Marketing people? What are you guys? Marketing people.
Excellent.
Interesting.
Excellent.
From where?
Awesome.
A creative team.
Awesome.
I love it. I love that. You're here learning about print. Very, very
Love
cool.
it.
Where are you guys located from? It's in Chicago.
in Chicago.
Okay, I'm not from here. You give me directions to your house. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. See, okay, Chicago. Okay, so how do you help printers, Trish? Because I don't think people really understand that you do that.
Yeah.
I think that's like an untapped resource, quite frankly.
Yeah, so I help printers in a couple of ways. One is through Fold Factory. We have die lines and all sorts of resources. We also have a template builder. Our template builder is a resource where you can dynamically create templates for free. You just key in what folding style you want, and we're calculating the math dynamically, and you have a file ready for design. So it's a production perfect file. So that's available on Fold Factory and free to use. And then the other thing that I do a lot of lately is I do a lot of speaking events, a lot of client events for printers. And I work with Cindy Woods. She has a program called Knowledge Tap, and it's creative content for printers. But then we also package different content tracks for printers, where I will come on site and inspire and educate printers' customers. And then I basically say, look, there's nothing here that I've shown that your printer can't help you with. So, there's content and resources that they brand and distribute as well. So it's a whole package that really helps them, because it's hard to be a printer and a marketer and an event producer. It's like we make the event part easy and come in with the resources and the ideas and plant the seeds. And then it's a lot easier than a printer saying, we've got this press and it does such and such. It's like people want to see what they can do. They want to see what can be done. They want to touch. They want to, test things out. And they want the tools to make it easy. Nobody has time anymore. Nobody has a lot of time to sit around and make little comps and figure out a die line or whatever. It's kind of, how can we get them from point A to point B faster?
You have also ventured into other speaking areas now, and in another iteration of Trish Witkowski, you're actually Trish Witkowski, not the folding fanatic, and you're speaking to brands and corporations.
I am.
And talking about marketing, and you just spoke at the Content Marketing Conference, right?
I just spoke at Content Marketing World. I did. I got invited to join a marketing speaker agency called Monumental Shift, and I've been doing a lot of kind of big idea, kind of brand development, thought leadership in marketing and sales and business strategy. So that's been kind of a whole new thing for me. I'm learning the art and the science of creating great presentations and engaging with an audience, and it's been really, really, really cool. And it's also helped me in my business, to be honest, to get outside of what I do and break into all new, marketing and concepts.
So content is obviously important to you.
Yes.
And with that in mind, how can printers better utilize content, and should they be utilizing content? I mean, I have a hard enough time trying to, I don't even try to convince them to be on social media anymore. I'm like, all right, we don't need you. If you don't want to, be here. I'm not going to try to convince you. I just want to work with the people already there on how to make it better and move forward, you know.
Yeah.
So what is your I hate to say argument, but what is your argument if they don't start talking to people and creating relevant content?
So it's kind of interesting. I mean, this comes out of, I think, my research on millennial marketing and generational preferences, but millennials actually do like a Google search. They tend to start kind of with a very open mind. And so discoverability is quite important. And the way that you can establish leadership and to also have that greater discoverability is to put out content that is helpful and that establishes your leadership in a certain topic or a certain area. I think a lot of times with content, we kind of overthink it. And we sit there and it takes us 2 days to write a blog and we're obsessed with the details. And I would say simplify and do little nuggets of content. And I don't mean peppering everybody with a zillion things. What I mean is focusing on quality, focusing on being entertaining, inspiring, or helpful. Those are the 3 things for content. Pick entertainment, inspiration, or helpfulness. And where we try to go with Fold of the Week was just a real honest, a real honest intention of sharing ideas, not trying to be too polished, not trying to be too salesy or anything, just focusing on putting out a great idea. And having a formula. There's a formula to Fold of the Week. It's got an intro. There's always a kind of a thank you and a credit in the beginning. There's a creative, inspiring idea. There's a bit of production information, and there's a close. And it's a formula. And people fall in love with the formula, and then they fall in love with the content and the show. And so think about what's your formula. And be consistent. So, people know it's coming out every week. If you kind of randomly do things, people can't really get a feel for when they can rely on you or when, we're all kind of creatures of habit. I mean, if there's a bit of a formula to it as well, that's a good thing. And I think just being authentic and, so I didn't know if anybody was going to watch the show. I really didn't. I mean, when I started, I didn't know what was really going to happen with it. It's been 8 years now. A week ago was the 400th episode of
Congratulations.
Fold of the Week. Yeah.
400 episodes.
400 episodes, 8 years. And it's crazy when you do anything for 8 years. It's when you think about yourself across 8 years, it's like good hair days, bad hair days. Like, the camera still goes on. It's kind of everything keeps going. You don't get to shut the camera off. But I think that's part of creating a relationship with your audience is they kind of follow along with you. They know you're a person and you've got good days and bad days and, but I always, I'm fortunate that people send me great things. And I always have a great idea for everybody. And that's what, to me, the show's all about. And the moment I don't have great stuff to share is the moment the show ends. I mean, that's just kind of how it goes.
So we're going to get ready for our Girls Who Print Girly Award, but I wanted to ask you this last question, and then you can let people know how they can get in touch with you.
Okay.
So you basically, have spent the last 8 years inspiring the print industry and the design community. Where do you go for inspiration?
Wow, where do I go for inspiration? Gosh, I actually tend to look outside of what I know. I mean, I love just the simple things. I have 2 kids. They're 9 and 10, and I find that they're kind of the way that they look at the world and their creativity.
They're very creative.
They're very creative. My
They make
daughter's
breakfast
thing right now,
faces,
they
yeah.
make breakfast faces and take pictures and send them to Deborah. Like they take their food and make faces out of it. My daughter we call it yarn bombing, and she wraps everything in yarn right now. Like everything, she's like, here's your pen in yarn. So everything's wrapped in yarn. So I find them inspiring and kind of the way that they look at the world. And then I also, I'm still very deeply involved in the industry. I'm always looking, whenever I go anywhere for an event or anywhere that I go, I'm always looking for samples. You can find me in their sample department. I would say the card aisle. I also...
Like in the... Can I say Hallmark? Like Hallmark?
Yeah, like anywhere.
Like I'm Oprah and I can't say Hallmark
I know.
all of a sudden. Hallmark.
Yeah, but anywhere where there's... I love the card aisle as well, to just try to find new things. But yeah, I mean, people send me stuff from all over the world, and I'm always inspired by what they're doing, and so yeah,
Thank you,
kind of
Trishy.
everywhere.
I'm proud to call you my friend.
Oh, we're buds.
How can
Fun.
people get in touch with you?
So lots of ways. I'm kind of everywhere. So at Folding Fanatic on Twitter. I'm also at Trish Witkowski as well. And we're on Fold Factories on Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube.com/Fold Factory is the channel, the YouTube channel, Facebook, of course. And I'm always around. Gosh, you can go to Fold Factory, of course, and as well to get to me. So there's lots of ways.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So thank everybody so much for
Thanks.
hanging out with me and Trish.
Yay.
And in 5 minutes, I guess, we're going to start our Girls Who Print. Oh, is it now? We're going to start our Girls Who Print Girly Word presentation. 5 minutes? 5 minutes. And
Awesome.
lunch we'll open lunch when my mother says we're having lunch. So nobody listen to me. I learned this yesterday. I'm sure a woman scanned you when you came in here. That's my mom, Lady Scan-A-Lot, we call her.
Yay.
So she's in charge of down there, and I'm in charge of up here. So every time I keep telling people they could eat lunch, and it's not the time. So when she says you can eat lunch, there's a lovely lunch complimentary of the Printiverse Alliance. So happy Girls Who Print Day. Skål! My Swedish friends are here. Okay, cool. Be back in a few.